All
The
right.
meeting's not started yet. I'll come and get you when it does.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Do you need to sign in? Do we? Yeah, you just need to sign in as a visitor.
Well, when I sign in, people ignore who I am anyway. Sign in as my company name, but they ignore it. Well, meeting schedule started at 3. It's now 3:03. Meeting's still not started. Members of the public aren't allowed in until the meeting starts, but meeting's supposed to start at 3.
The meeting's starting.
Oh, the meeting's started now. I'm obviously allowed in late.
It's just about to.
All right, winner, chicken dinner.
Right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Communities and Wellbeing Overview Scrutiny Committee. Members are reminded that the meetings may be filmed or otherwise recorded by councillors or members of the public. The council wishes to remind people that the filming or that the law permits you to film public meetings only, and you must cease filming as soon as the meeting ends. Thank you. Apologies and absences.
Thanks, Chair. There are apologies from Councillors Scott Brereton and Colin Mackenzie. Councillors Jodie Clement and Mike Booth are substituting. There's also an apology from Joan West, who is a co-optee. Also apologies from Councillor Carol Haythorne.
Item 2, we move on. Declarations of interest and dispensations. Item 3, the minutes of last meeting. To submit the minutes of the Communities and Wellbeing Overview Scrutiny Committee held on the 13th of December 23 for approval as a correct record. Does anyone any questions? I recommend
Chair.
the min. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Sorry, I would just like to bring up an update with regards to the minutes, in the sense that we were trying to ask whether the citizens' advice could have additional funding, and I have actually sent an email to David Wellsby and to Stuart Sandbrook with regards to the climate funding, to see whether we could actually support them any more in that area. I haven't had any confirmation back yet, but I'm hoping to obviously see whether we could actually give them a little bit more funding there.
Thank you.
Just wanted to update that.
Chair, there is, in your update, there is an update on that, but it's probably less recent than Councillor Montague's update.
Yeah.
I think what
Yeah,
you're
it's
saying
only
is
just
probably,
recently happened,
it's probably
so.
more update than what's in the Chair's update, which is about the Cabinet response
Yes.
to the recommendations.
It is recommended that the minutes be received and approved as a correct record. I'll move the minutes as outlined. Can I have a second, please? Right, second.
You need to take a vote on.
Hmm?
You need to take a vote on.
I'll vote on that. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter.
We move on now to item 4. This item is to update the committee on any matters previously sent to Cabinet, the Council or elsewhere for consideration, or any other relevant matter the Chair wishes to raise. There is one update at this time, and that is to inform the committee that 2 recommendations were made to the Cabinet relating to Citizen Advice East Lancashire. These were as follows. The Cabinet agrees to include a minimum grant in line with the previous year for Citizen Advice East Lancashire in its 24-25 budget. The budget proposes note the actual approval of the grant is subject to council approval of the 24-25 revenue budget. The Cabinet considers an increase the grant to the Citizen Advice East Lancashire 24-25 budget proposal due to the current demand on the services from Hindman residents. The first recommendation is accepted. Regarding the second recommendation, the Cabinet agreed to consider this when setting its budget for 24-25, depending on the availability of funds. The budget has since been set, an increase was not able to be included. That's my update I now move on to the next item. Item 5. Michelle, I'd like to welcome Kirsten Burnett, Head of Policy and Audit and Chair of the Community Safety Partnership, to present this report. I'd like to welcome Sergeant Colin Doyle, who is here to represent the police. Kirsten, can you please present your report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll just pull out some of the key points for you. So this is regarding the Community Safety Partnership, which is part of the whole network of partnerships that help to tackle crime and reduce reoffending. The law places a statutory duty on a number of responsible authorities to work in partnership to reduce crime and disorder. So we at Hindburn Borough Council are one of those, along with Lancashire Police, and obviously Sergeant McCoy's here today as well. It's also Lancashire County Council, the Fire and Rescue Service, the Clinical Commissioning Group and National Probation Service. So although the police are represented here today, you know, there are a number of us in the partnership. We have additional members of the Community Safety Partnership from across all sorts of sectors. So just some examples of our local members are HARV, Domestic Abuse Services, we've got HomeWise on there, and local drug and alcohol services. So there's a number of people involved. They're just sort of 3 examples there. So what we do as a partnership is look at local crime priorities and develop sort of different plans to tackle those, where we can do so in partnership. Just to highlight that scrutiny of the police isn't a matter for this committee, so that's undertaken by the Police and Crime Commissioner, who themselves is held to account by a police and crime panel. So there's a whole structure around this. So we have a Lancashire Strategic Community Safety Partnership Board, which I sit on, and we sort of receive various reports and look at kind of key strategic documents and looking right across Lancashire as a whole, which includes the unitary authorities. We also work really closely with other councils across Pennine, Lancashire. That's something that isn't, I think it's very much just developing in other parts of Lancashire, but it's very well established in Pennine, Lancashire, and something that we find really effective and helpful. We have lots of commonalities and we're able to work together, and there are joint bids that go in from that Pennine group. And then locally we have our Hindburn Community Safety Partnership. So I'm sure 1 or 2 of you may have attended that in the past, and the way we deal with that is we look at local priorities. So I've listed some of those in 310. So environmental crime, violent crime, acquisitive crime, youth-related crime and organised crime. And the way we deal with those is to have, rather than have them to all talked about in detail at the overarching CSP meetings, is we have task and finish groups. And that enables us to bring the right people to deal with those particular issues and hopefully kind of be really action focused. So for example, where we're looking at youth crime, the group can look at individual young people and look at what support can be wrapped around them, what individual interventions are right for that young person to hopefully divert them and stop them getting into worse trouble and creating antisocial behaviour and anything else that's happening. We will be doing a survey this year to the public. So when that happens, you know, we obviously will be reaching out to our elected members to help get word out about that, and that will help us identify our priorities going forward. And we contribute to other national campaigns. So the White Ribbon campaign it's a campaign that has a particular awareness week, and that's about violence against women and girls. So that's something that we are accredited for. I've got my champion badge on, and you know we've flown the flag for that as well, and we contribute to road safety campaigns and other campaigns as they come through. So, just to highlight, I'm skipping right ahead here to the serious violence duty in paragraph 316. So again, that is a duty on us that we have to meet to look at violence, serious violence, and that's coordinated on a Lancashire-wide scale. And some of the funding that came in for that has funded resource within the Office of the Police and Crime Commissioner to coordinate that role. So there's lots of things that happen locally, but you know, obviously for some things it's on a Lancashire-wide basis. And then there are lots of other groups that we feed into. So the contest board, that's about counter-terrorism, prevents is about extremism, safeguarding networks, strategic hate crime and cohesion, antisocial behaviour, health and wellbeing. So we know that, you know, crime and safety, you know, cuts across lots and lots of different things. I've touched as well on domestic homicide reviews. So when somebody dies and there appears to have been violence, you know, sort of violent relationship that's perhaps contributed to that, then we do a kind of really deep dive into that, like a serious case review where all the partners come together and share their information. So there's a big kind of timeline produced and hopefully lessons learned that can be taken forward to hopefully avoid things in future. And we've had, over the last year or more, within Hyndburn, sadly we've had 2 domestic homicide reviews. This is an example where it's been hugely useful for us that we're part of the Pennine CSP, because they are really, they've got staff that are very experienced in this and have been able to lead on that coordination, finding an independent chair for us. It's still been very time consuming for us at Hyndburn. We've had officers from different teams that have been involved because of contacts that they've had with the victims. But if you think actually in terms of community safety staff here in the borough, we have one. We have a community safety manager. I chair the CSP, but I have lots and lots of other areas of work. So it's when things like this come along, it does kind of really place a burden on the team. So having Pennine Lancashire there has, you know, when we realised how much they were going to do for us, we were hugely relieved. And it really makes that partnership worthwhile. One thing that we still need to resolve is how we're going to fund that. So it's quite an expensive process. I mean, obviously there's a lot of officer time from all the different partners just coming together. We have, you know, we've been in here all day for several days on each of those 2 cases. So it really is a very detailed kind of painstaking process. And the funding for that in the past has come from the OPCC. So we've paid for an independent chair to come in, and then we've charged that back to the PCC. I think their funding pot for that was about £20,000, which would basically pay for a couple, and that's for right across Lancashire. So just over a year ago, the PCC said that was something they weren't going to be able to fund anymore. What we're hoping to do is come up with a Lancashire-wide approach where partners pay in, the whole, you know, all the community safety partners pay in, and then when we have a DHR come along, we're able to pull on that funding. That hasn't yet been resolved. So if a DHR were to land tomorrow, we'd have to just get together and work out who's paying what, and you know, that would, so it'd be really great to have that agreed in advance. So we've listed in 3.23 a number of different projects that have received funding. So they're not sort of managed by the Community Safety Partnership, but the funding requests often come through the Community Safety Partnership, where we're able to get support from different partners and kind of filter out, help those bids, help form those bids before they go to the Police and Crime Commissioner. So you'll see there's quite a number of bids that have been successful. Hopefully some of those will be things that that you recognise and that are making a difference to people on the ground. And we've also listed some of the potential projects as well. And then I was just going to mention in 3.26 that the CSP meetings, quite a bit of time. We usually have Inspector Peter Norris who comes along, and we have very detailed reports about crime that we look at, and we interrogate as a group, so that we're able to kind of work out where particular things are happening, and that all helps inform the task and finish groups and any bids that are going through. So that's where I suppose the really detailed questioning, usually of the police. I know we always talk about all these different partners, but it's usually the police that get all the questions, and I'm sure today won't be any different. That's all I was going to go through. I don't know if there's anything you particularly want to say, or are you just going to take all the questions?
I'll take any questions. I'll try and answer any questions if anyone's got any questions to ask.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Kirsten. Is there any questions from the committee? Yes.
I'm Matt and Mr. Allen speaking. These projects that you've got going now for in 3.23, so how do any...
There's nothing more to add. I'd like to thank Kirsten for presenting the report and Carl for attending to represent the police. For me, this committee welcomes the work of the community and the safety partnership, and engage with the councillors via the Scrutiny committee. The report is noted, and it's the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.